Hey guys, this is going to be a straight to YouTube special, as and it might have to go into BitChute if it gets banned or shadow banned or whatever. I'm going into some pretty deep stuff today. Uh, and a disclaimer: the warnings, whatnot, I've been sharing have been generic, and what I mean by that is if you have your own relationship with God and you're praying about it, and if you're being led in a specific direction, follow that. But just be prepared. The warning still stands. So, but if you're supposed to be in a certain place, um, just just be prepared and your heart settled on the matter that you're not going to have the easiest time of it, such as a number of cities are now going down the tubes. Um, if for whatever reason you feel called to stay where you are, you need to take care of family, or yourself, you're too old to get out, or not able to get out. Um, that I mean, it's understandable. All I can say is this is a warning, and I want everyone to have the best possible chance at having a good life as possible. Uh, that's all I can hope for as I give out these warnings. But it's only going to get more intense from here on out. Our little, I mentioned we might have a little reprieve. Uh, that is largely over, but because I was even able to get the Quest 2, that being an answered prayer, um, it's not gonna. There's gonna be some sense of opportunity in the world. There's still going to be chances to uh, be productive. It's not just going to be one big hellscape. Uh, the the big city is going to be tough. I was hoping things. I was actually partly hoping that it wasn't going to go through, and that would have been a sign that things would move along much quicker. Because I don't want to see this dragged out for too long. Because yeah, there is no um, um, after this per se. It only keeps escalating into the climax. So I'll get into that more later. But yeah, just going with that disclaimer. This is generic information. Again, if you have your own prayer relationship with God, um, sort that out. But yeah, okay. I think Tim Pool's gonna help launch us into this topic tonight here.
My friends, the Great Reset is no conspiracy theory. It is a conspiracy fact. Although I don't think you really need to call it a conspiracy, there is a great effort to use COVID-19 to trigger what they call the Great Reset, essentially reimagining the global economy. Well, I don't want to mince words. I want to make sure I show you exactly what the World Economic Forum.
Okay. So yes, um, like I've pointed out before, this is planned. This has been planned in advance, and you probably, if you've been following the previous videos, you know that this is the organization. It all points to the Jesuits. Now, if it's still kind of like this is, I'm not sure if I buy this. This is just another theory. Well, that's what we're going to be going in today. Now, there's two things I want to tackle because people have kept asking me about it, and so I thought I might as well finally do it in this video. So early on, when I finally started coming out with this, people wanted me to name names. And as I mentioned in the last video, you've got these multiple levels of it. It's like a bell curve in terms of evil and responsibility, and that the bell curve is really about just how much they're in the public. And so at the for any kind of evil action, you're going to have someone actually performing the action, and then you have people managing that, and then you've got the public faces. So these are heads of state and whatnot. And then on the downslope again, which you're not getting as much coverage, then you have the backers, and then you have the actual manipulators pulling the strings. So there's two things. Why I hate horror, and we'll get into that. But as for naming names, if that's what you've been waiting for, here, I will name a name. Arturo Sosa. He is the current Superior General of the Society of Jesus, or Jesuits. So you've probably never heard of him. Exactly. And this is why I haven't named names, because without any context, this means nothing. And do not try to shame him, go after this guy. Because, well, the key takeaway is it's more about the position. Where's my cursor? The Superior General rather than the individual. The individuals are disposable in essence. Even this guy, this is essentially what you're looking at is one of, if not the most powerful man in the world at the moment. Also known as the Black Pope. So the decision maker behind the decision makers, I guess you could say. Now, if you understand that there is a literal devil, you understand that there's someone behind him. There is a video I think you should check out. This is Doug Batcher. I'm gonna link it down in the description. The God Created Devil. It's a good talk on that subject. If you do not believe in a literal devil, but understand that there's people like him that are manipulating mankind on a massive scale behind the scenes, you're going to want to take a look at Dr. Walter Weith's talk on it. And this is actually from, I think he released this 2004. It's been re-uploaded by a number of people, a number of times. Okay, so either way, I want to give my take on this situation as one who desired to manipulate even the Superior General. And that's a good segue into why I hate the horror genre. So horror reminds me of what I once was and what I was going to do. It reminds me of how much I despised mankind for it being so easy to manipulate, and that they deserved what was coming to them. And Sorry. You basically, as outsiders, you do not understand who your enemy really is. And since the time you were born till now, you've been lied to. There's been a massive deception. The greatest friend that you could possibly have in the world has been made into a monster. And your greatest enemy, when he actually shows himself, will be to you as a god. And I call it the dog and pony show. All this stuff on the world stage has been for priming the world for what's about to take place. And you are going to be hand-fed a solution to your problem. Let's put it that way. So I've made a number of warnings that have come to pass. If I have gained your trust and you want me to show you who your real enemy is, and so beyond naming names, forget this guy. Okay? If you want to know how to identify your real enemy, follow me along through this. I'm going to take a few key points out of Walter Weiss video, and you'll be able to correctly identify as this worldwide upset happens. You'll be able to correctly identify your enemy. And everything I've been doing thus far is I've been trying to model your friend. I suck at it sometimes, but I hopefully will shine more and more as a brighter light against the backdrop of this hellscape you're seeing go on right now. All right, so here we go. Let's get started with Walter here.
Now, it is interesting that in secret societies there are always two doctrines. One for the initiated and one for the goyim, the uninitiated. And the Knights Templars had two doctrines. The one was the inside esoteric occult doctrine, and the other one was the exoteric, the one to the outside, and that was Catholicism. So the masses received a religion which the insiders turned on its head. Amongst occult insiders, Lucifer is the true Son of God. Jesus is a second son who was defeated by the first one who had been thrown out. So Lucifer is the true luminary, the victor in the battle, and will be the one who will be worshipped at the end of time. That is occult doctrine. That's always been the doctrine of the Kabbalah.
Okay, so that's enough for now. Okay, so just keep that in your mind. Whether or not you personally believe that this is real, you need to understand that this is what the people pulling the strings believe, and they will act on this. So keep that in mind. This is what they believe, and they will act on this. And you will continue, as I go through this, you will see what kind of life people who believe this live. And, well, I mean, you're seeing it come out now in plain sight. But it's worth going through. You're going to see how much of what Walter did 16 years ago is coming to pass. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead here So in the previous video uh, on the Jesuits, I mentioned that they were the organization behind all um, the modern secret societies. So Walter's going to go into this, but before the Jesuits, in terms of stream of time, that there were precursors to the Jesuits, and it's important to see is you're going to see the symbolism carry through all the way from uh, older times up until today. Okay, because they love their symbols. All right, so it was 1418. There we go.
And a very powerful order which controlled all the finances, the financial world. They were the banking elite of the world, if you like. And then in the year 1128, the order was sanctioned by the Council of Troyes and by the Pope. It was a Roman Catholic order within the church. Now, some years later, October 13, 1307, this order was officially brought to an end by the King of France because it had come to light what they were doing, so it was said. The King of France, Philippe le Bel, had the Templars arrested, and the date was Friday the 13th, October 1307, and since that day, Friday the 13th is a day of bad luck for the entire world. And the charges brought against them were the ceremony of initiation into the order was accomplished by insults to the cross and the denial of Christ and gross obscenities. Gross obscenities. There were all kinds of things reminiscent of Sodom that had to take place there. The adoration of an idol, which was said to be the image of the true God, and that was Baphomet, the symbol over here of the androgenic male-female deity.
Yeah, so two key takeaways there. You're going to see these two themes keep cropping up. You're going to see it ultimately comes down to some form of Luciferian worship, and you're going to see a constant theme of gross obscenities, some sort of perversion, some sort of sexual deviation. You're going to see those themes constantly pop up. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to kind of just who are the Jesuits. In between, this is a very good video to watch if you're interested on this topic about how over time and all the details of it. It's a great reference on the Jesuits and other secret societies. But we're going to skip through a bulk of it, and we're going to kind of get to their identity here. About there.
The Cheniking. Ignatius Loyola says himself, the power of the general will be so unlimited that should he deem it necessary for the honor of God, he shall even be able to send back or in another direction those who have come direct from the popes.
Okay, so the power general, so that's whoever holds this position, they basically can usurp the authority of the Pope or someone acting in the name of the authority of the Pope. To be clear. That's who that kind of person is.
So this is a powerful order. Friedrich von Hartenberg said, never before in the course of the world's history has such a society appeared. The old Roman Senate itself did not lay schemes for world domination with greater certainty of success. They want world dominion, with the Pope enthroned as the universal ruler. The Roman Catholic Lafayette said, it is my opinion that if the liberties of this country, the United States of America, are destroyed, it will be by the subtlety of the Roman Catholic Jesuit priests, for they are the most crafty, dangerous enemies to civil and religious liberty. They have instigated most of the wars of Europe.
and I mentioned that in the last video, is they were basically kicked out of Europe, and the Roman Catholic Church officially had to distance themselves from the Jesuits, as they had the reputation of ruining nations.
These are prominent people speaking. Morse, he's the founder of the Morse code, the inventor of the Morse code. He said, and who are these agents? They are, for the most part, Jesuits. An ecclesiastical order proverbial through the world for cunning, duplicity, and total want of moral principle, an order so skilled in all the arts of deception that even in Catholic countries, in Italy itself, it became intolerable and the people required its suppression.
Yep.
That's another prominent man. Archduke Maximal Francis said, they have so constantly mixed themselves up in the court and state intrigues that they must in justice be reproached with striving after universal dominion. And we could go on and on and on.
So yeah, that's enough of that. All right, I want to point to how just everything leads back to Rome here. And we'll also see how it's starting to link into the modern day. So after that, their name had been dragged through the mud, they starting up other organizations, and such as the Freemasons, Knights of Malta, Knights of Columbus, blah 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 blah. So let's take a look at the Knights of Malta here. 53. Close enough.
Male and female about the country will tell you with grim gravity that if you trace up masonry through all its orders till you come to the grand tip-top head mason of the world, you will discover that the dread individual and the chief of the Society of Jesus are one and the same person. James Patron, American historian. There are many that say these things. Knights of Malta. The Freemasons are in the foreground, while the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta are in the background. The Jesuits control even the Knights of Malta. Now, who are they? Well, they are headquartered in Rome, these knights. They used to be on an island, but besides that, they used to be a military order. They are still a military order. They are knights. They control the banking of the world, the industry of military complexes of the world. They oversee Chase Manhattan Bank with all its branches. They rule all the intelligence communities, the KGB, the CIA, and all of these things to restore the Dark Ages. Everything I'm...
And now I referred to Yuri Bezmenov in the past, and how it was not a communist thing. The communists are under the thumb of the Jesuits.
I'm saying is a quote. I'm saying...
So he's right about what's coming, but in terms of like who's the actual puppet master, it's not the Soviets.
Nothing. Don't accuse me of saying anything. I'm just reading. Who are they? Well, here's the head of the Knights of Malta at the moment in America. Well, he's dead now. This is Francis Joseph Cardinal Spellman, Cardinals of New York. And their headquarters is St. Patrick's Cathedral.
So he mentions a number of names.
Pat Buchanan does that.
So Heinrich Himmler was on there. Yeah, it goes to a number of prominent people who have been Knights of Malta. All right, let's go back a little bit closer to modern day here, and remember those two themes. That whole kind of Luciferian worship, as well as the sexual theme here. All right, close enough there.
They remember. Then we have the Skull and Bones organization. And who are they? Well, they have this interesting skull and bones. What does it represent? You know that by now. Jupiter. And they have the number 322. If you look up Genesis chapter 3, verse 22, you will find, now man has become as like one of us.
And he also goes into this in this lecture here. But Jupiter, the god of death, it's pretty clear. We're talking about Lucifer here.
Knowing good and evil, raising man to the level of deity.
And of course that you shall not die and you will be as gods. Lucifer's promise to man.
This is Yale University, the place where they are. Now let's consult
deception.
one of the greatest authorities on skull and bones. That is Anthony Sutton. Let's ask him who he is. Educated at the Universities of London, Göttingen, California, former research fellow at the Hoover Institute, Stanford University, as well as economics professor of California State University. He had the guts to speak out and write a book, and it cost him dearly. But nevertheless.
Yeah, this is partly why I don't want to get married. I don't want this to be held. Right now, anyway, I'll leave that alone. But yeah, Anthony Sutton, if this is a topic you're interested in, a good source. But just before we go any farther, I just want to be clear here about when it comes to getting caught up on symbolism. This is a philosophy for the goyim, for the outsiders. This Gnosticism. You go, ooh, look that symbol. Oh, that's them. It's like as long as you can just go, okay, I know what that symbol. That just means that they're part of the club. That's basically all you basically need to do with these symbols. Getting caught up in this in the sort of excitement, like ooh, there's a conspiracy going on. Okay, just slow your roll, settle down. Don't get caught up in the symbolism. Just look at the bigger picture. It's not going to do you any good just coming up with your own theories. It's very clear, towards the end you will see the end goal is simple. You don't need to go down any tangents here. Okay, here we go.
Let's quote him. There is the book, Anthony Sutton, America's Secret Establishment, An Introduction to the Order of Skull and Bones. So that I don't say it, let's quote it. Skull and Bones, it's over, it's Bush. Bush won the election. Let's watch this video.
Yale University, the scions of America's first families confess their sexual exploits from a gruesome coffin. In a smoke-filled room, a handful of power brokers manipulate the global economy. These are the purported activities of some of America's secret societies, groups with names like Bilderberg, Skull and Bones, and the Trilateral Commission. The Skull and Bones Society is founded in 1832 by 15 seniors at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. They establish a secret society with rules and rituals that remain unchanged to this day. The Skull and Bones initiation ceremony is said to be held in April in the tomb's basement. One distinguished member serves as master of ceremonies. Once enrobed, he is known as Uncle Toby. The shortest senior is appointed Little Devil and dons a satanic costume. A bonesman with a deep voice is dressed as Don Quixote. Another is dressed as the college's founder, Elihu Yale. Still another is given papal vestments. It would all be funny if it weren't for the fact that among the former bonesmen are three presidents: William Howard Taft, George Bush, George W. Bush, numerous senators and ambassadors, industrialists like William Whitney, CIA agents, State Department officials, and publishing magnate Henry Luce. Absolute secrecy is also required. In his 1999 autobiography, George W. Bush devotes just one sentence to his membership in Skull and Bones. Quote, "My senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, a secret society so secret I can't say anything more. The secrecy, according to some researchers, is there to protect the fact that Skull and Bones funnels its initiates into positions of power and influence.
The best-known bonesman is ex-President George Bush, who, according to tradition, is supposed to avoid admitting he's a member.
Mr. President, are you a member of Skull and Bones?
American Journal got a similar response when we recently asked George Bush Jr., the governor of Texas, about his membership.
Does it still exist? I mean, the thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
Okay, so you'll see that George W. Bush is a member. They lie in a coffin. They bow down before a papal figure, swear allegiance. They do all kinds of weird sexual things in a coffin, which I'm not going to explain what they do here. It's pretty vile. And these are the presidents of the most powerful countries in the world, and they belong to secret societies such as this. The order...
Okay. So again, you see that theme of there's something representing Lucifer, and then of course you got these, some sort of sexual act involved. You'll see this, and if you see the rest of this talk, you'll see this theme even more. Now, does it? Because this was back in 2004, and as we're getting so close to the big unveiling of this plan, are they more open about it, about their depravity? Well, I mean, oh yes, but will they even kind of do their ceremonies more out in the open? I mean, are they willing to let it be broadcast on television? Yes, and I hate this video. I hate, but and I've showed a couple of you this before, but back in 2017, you had all these big wigs at the opening of the Gardered Tunnel in Sweden, and I have no words. I will have words, but I'm just gonna play it. What? And I got playing this creepy music, and skip ahead to him. Start. Okay. And he starts dry humping and simulating work. Yeah, I've seen enough of that. So yeah, that you have a representative of Baphomet and performing a sexual act, for the world to see, getting pretty bold. And do we see? So if this is who they are, if this is who they are behind the scenes, what happens when their life has been tracked and been recorded? What can you expect to see? So you're seeing these Hunter Biden's laptop, they're finding all this perverted footage, incest, just drug-fueled. Anyway, yeah. So this is this is what's going on with the people who pull the strings in the world. So you probably are having a reaction to this. Probably a sense of disgust. So, who's gonna save us from this? Well, let's go back to Walter here. And I almost don't want to play this because it's using words that you're probably... Conspiracy theory, if I hear that. If I hear New World Order, I'm thinking QAnon, I'm thinking... Okay, but let's just play this. And this is from 2004. And you tell me how well this is playing out here.
For a new international order. CNN, what did that have to say? Pope calls for a new world order. Thursday, January 1, 2004. Vatican City, Pope John Paul rang in the new year on Thursday with a renewed call for peace in the Middle East and Africa and the creation of a new world order based on respect for the dignity of man and equality amongst nations.
So what do we just see the day after the debate? More, I'm not sure if the treaty was signed, but more peace in the Middle East. Oh, peace in the Middle East. New World Order. So what was that about? Oh. Okay. So, if what I've been saying, and what Walter has been also saying, is if the Jesuits, if they are who all this behind-the-scenes stuff seems to point to, that they are an organization that will play both sides and destabilize the world in order to bring power back to the papacy. Okay? If that's the case, and with the warnings I've been giving, because I've been giving pretty specific warnings, and I said there's going to be riots, we should now be seeing across the globe, not just in the U.S., riots like crazy, largely in response to the depravity and the overreaching of the current world order, because we're talking about a new world order. So we should be seeing a rejection of the current world order. Is that happening? Have the Jesuits successfully destabilized the world? You tell me. First, let's look in Asia. Yeah, we got 300 protests in 18 months in one city. This is in China.
NTD News.
Hundreds of people rallied in Taiwan's capital on Sunday to call for China to release 12
Okay, so we got in Taiwan. Of course, there were the Hong Kong protests. They've largely been suppressed in early October when they did those protests. It wasn't as strong as before because the new law was in place and people were arrested. And so yeah, Asia is sufficiently destabilized. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see. I've got the list here. Okay, so let's take a look in the UK. What are the responses to the lockdowns? You got people can't buy certain things inside stores anymore. It seems to be finding it hard. No rhyme, no reason.
You don't mind coming down for me?
All right, so you got protests in the UK. Okay, so what about Italy? All right, Italy's not too happy. Let's take a look at Germany.
Du schubst mich nicht weg.
Germany doesn't seem to be doing too well. Let's take a look at Poland. Oh, and by the way, this is all from this past week. All right, let's take a look in Czech Republic. Not looking good. Let's take a look in Australia. Not happy times. Let's take a look at Nigeria.
A smoldering supermarket, shoppers running to safety after looters set this fire in Lagos. Flames rising from a jail the military called in to deal with a riot.
So yes, I would say the world has been successfully destabilized. You could say this is all chance. And things will just resolve themselves. You could. But you'd be wrong. So here's going to be the big flip. So you've seen this. There's a reason why you as the goyim, the cattle, the outsiders, why you've been able to see this image of Lucifer, of Baphomet. You see him with the horns, and you have this stereotypical view of evil. But evil is not going to come with pitchforks and horns. Evil is going to come with a smile. And again, I'm not saying this is going to be the guy who's going to be your ultimate arch nemesis. So I'm just using that as an example. He's smiling, happy guy. Your arch nemesis is not going to be this mustache twirling, guy, and it's not going to come in the form of this depravity. It's going to come as someone who is going to be claiming to solve all these issues. All it's going to cost you is you. You're going to have to give up your rights. You're going to have and come in line with the common good, for the good of all humanity, to basically make gods of mankind. As long as it can be not the actual God. That is your enemy, is a false God. Whether or not you believe he is coming, he is coming. And what's your hope? Well, there's going to be three groups of people that it's going to settle down into. As this gets replaced with the New World Order, there's going to be three groups. There's going to be those who live life out of malice. So they will subscribe to the group. This group mentality is whoever's with us, you know what, you're our allies, you're our friends. But anyone outside, there is no actual love. This is just a manipulation of people's hearts. And for those who disagree, the mouse will just be driven to such a level that you're willing to kill. So that's group one. Group two, you're going to live in fear. You're going to keep your head down. So you know that as a just a lone human being, there's not the world in general is not going to be with you. So you're going to keep your head down and hope for this all to blow over. That you're but the thing is, and I'm going to this is another warning. If that's you, your hope is false. This is not blowing over. The replacement order, the New World Order, is not just a just a tiny little experiment. So yeah, you're either gonna operate under malice, you're gonna operate out of fear, just keep your head down, or you're gonna operate out of love. And so that final group is what I'm trying to represent. Amidst all of this, there's gonna be someone who comes up with a solution. And it's going to come from Rome. And whether or not because most likely Trump's going to be elected. But either way it goes, the riots will only continue. So if Biden gets elected, it's only going to be a very fast escalation of the status quo. And then you're going to have the demand for it to flip to this authoritarian New World Order. If Trump gets in, there's already numerous people in positions of influence that whether or not Trump plays along, he will either be bypassed or he will be manipulated, or he may actually be in on it. I don't know. But whether he is or he isn't doesn't matter. The plan has already been initiated and it is going to be carried through. And so whoever it is will ultimately point the people's gratitude for the fix to the person that the representative that Rome's going to put forth. And so this will be the establishment of getting the world in line with this new program. It's going to cover education, the economy, the whole 9 yards. And I could go more into it, but I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, choose love. For your own sake. Choose love. You don't even, I'm not asking you to join a church, because I'm not a member of a church. What I am asking you is if what you've seen of me thus far, if we've been friends and what you've seen of me, you go, you know what? That taste of when I'm talking about forgiveness, that whatever principles I put forth, because if you've been around me for long enough, you know that there's certain principles I have in line, and you should know by now they're never to reduce fun, but to secure fun, or if anything, maximize fun. So when it comes to drinking. I have no interest in getting drunk. I will have a few drinks to have fun. And if I see someone who seems like they had too many, of course I can't really stop them over the internet, but I encourage them to slow down, and I generally will stop calling for drinks if I know someone in the group has gone past their happy zone, lack of a better term. And that also covers sexuality. I believe there's a principled approach to sexuality that will maximize pleasure. So it has nothing to do with restricting, buzzkill. No, I want everyone to have the best possible, milk the most joy out of life. And so what I'm seeing especially draining for me right now is just the malice that's been spreading everywhere. And if anything, that's what I'm trying to fight against right now in people's lives specifically. that and people drinking too much, but especially with the malice is you need to be. Forgiveness is not for letting someone off the hook. Forgiveness is primarily for the person doing the forgiving. It's letting go of that bitterness so you can actually live a better life and not be dragged down with that malice. And so I hope I'm a beacon for some of you. Of some hope that there's still some hope in this world that seems to be going down the tubes. And if you go, Nathan, where do I get that from? It's not from me. It is from God. This is not an altar call. This is not a invitation to a church meeting. That's just the truth. I get my love from a higher source. It's not because, like I said at the beginning, I used to be in line with these people. If anything, I want to manipulate. I want to take them down with everyone else because they disgusted me as well as the people that they were manipulating. So yes, continue connecting with me. I love to hear from you guys. That there is no strings attached to the love. There is no you have to do X, or if that you insult me, if you slight me, if you wrong me. I may fail, I may mess up, I may lose my temper, but I hope I point you guys to the greater source of love and all this that's to come. That's it for now. I will do more update videos coming this Thursday. I'm going to give a few more kind of current day updates, but for probably as long as I can manage, maybe a couple months after the election, I will be trying to focus more on the actual activity I'm trying to do with VR and in the hospitals, because I hopefully have gotten the point across by now, and I don't need to keep bringing up just how horrible of a state the world is in right now. I think most of you get it, and so now it's more about focusing on the good that's still in the world. So thanks for tuning in. That's it for tonight.